Hey Scruffy, how you doing? I don't know, quiet meows tonight, huh? Yeah, I got your smelly fish tonight. Should be happy. Probably could smell it through the door. So strong. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna come out and feed you. So there are some clouds in the sky that look like they're blocking the sunset, so it's a little darker than usual. Okay, so got the food, bringing it out. Water. Close the door. I'm gonna change your water. So it looks like the answer on your bowl again. Okay, getting water in. So my leg is getting better from my bike accident, so I don't feel the pain too much when I bend down anymore. Okay, getting up. Getting the glove, sitting in the chair. And okay. So the weather was actually really nice today. Yeah. So it was forecast to be cooler than the last 3 days. So we've had kind of a heat wave. However, it was supposed to drop off in temperature today, but it was still supposed to be hot, just not as hot. And it's supposed to be like that for the next, I think, three days-ish. But something happened, and today actually cooled down a lot more than they expected. So instead of being going from miserably hot to just borderline miserable hot, we actually went down to nice. Got a flea? So, yeah, the temperature was very nice, so it wasn't scorching miserable. In fact, yeah, it might have actually been one of those near perfect days, because yeah, we had some clouds, so the UV index was a little lower. And so you could actually be outside without frying to death. So I went for a bike ride today, though thinking about it, or if I had known today was going to be like this, and there's no way to know because the forecast was wrong, but if I had known, I would have scrapped my run yesterday and done the run today, because today would have been a much better day to run. But yeah, anyway, since I didn't know, today was a biking day, so I've learned I can't run, or I shouldn't run consecutive days in a row. It's too hard on my body. I think that's how I injured myself with plantar fasciitis a couple years ago. It was, I think I overdid it with running. I was running like, I'd usually run 2-3 days in a row, and it's probably too hard on my body. So now I'm trying to alternate between high impact and low impact. So anyway, I went on my bike ride. I did my tough hill climb number 1 on the exposed mountainside. And there's a nice breeze right now. Needed that. I was starting to sweat. So yeah, I did the exposed mountainside. It was sunny, so I still had to have all my sun protected clothing and sunscreen, and it was still kind of hot because, you know, even though it was cooler, it's still, you know, summer temperatures. Huh. So what's Scruffy doing? That was weird. So he stopped, looked around, and then came back. So maybe he senses something in the area? So I did my hill climb, and I actually got a cramp in my stomach cramp biking up the mountain. Not sure why I get those sometimes. I don't get them often, but yeah, so I got one today. And then I think like a week ago, I talked about climbing up a mountain, and there was another cyclist who was powering up the hill on very tough gear. And I got a cramp that day too. I think the reason for that, though, was I think just kind of subconsciously I was pedaling harder, trying to keep up with the guy, even though he's leaving me in the dust. I think just subconsciously I wanted to try to see if I could at least keep him in sight. He eventually did leave my sight. He was going really fast, considering how difficult the hill is. So today, no cyclist. There was a guy with a radio, and he's playing music while walking up the mountainside. So no headphones, but an actual like radio, stereo. I didn't get a good look at it. It looked like he was wearing a backpack, and I think he had like a small radio strapped to the backpack. Not sure why the people do that. I've been seeing that a little more often, though usually when I see it, it's on cyclists, and I know the reason for that is because if you're on a bicycle and riding on the street, it's illegal for you to wear headphones because it obstructs your hearing from traffic, so you're not allowed to wear headphones. Same as driving, not allowed to wear headphones, so that's why you need to use the radio. But for a hiker or walker or runner, I don't know why you'd need that or want that. So everyone can hear your music and criticize it. But anyway, so I passed him when we were on the final approach to the final peak of the climb for hill climb number 1. So basically, it's like the mountain starts off really tough, and then it gets slightly less tough, and then it levels out a little bit, and it gets a little tougher again, and then in the final approach to the last part of the summit, it kind of levels out, so it's like maybe a 6% grade climb or something. So compared to everything else, it's pretty nice. And then the final climb again is really tough. So anyway, I pass him. Here's radio, and then I start climbing up the tough hill. I still got a stomach cramp at this point. I've had the stomach cramp for a while now. I'm just powering through, trying to make it to the top so I can rest, and then I'll try to get rid of the cramp by resting. And then I think about 2/3 up the hill, the final hill, and then I hear the radio getting louder and louder and louder. And then eventually I see him, yeah, and he's running, so he's no longer walking, but yeah, you guess he's practicing power running up the mountain. And yeah, he passed me, and he passed me pretty easily because the mountain's so steep. So when you get inclines that tough, yeah, it's faster to walk sometimes than it is to cycle. And definitely faster to run. Okay, Scruffy, I think we're about time here. And yeah, you seem to... You want your back rub there. But yeah, I think you want your smelly fish, right? Okay, let's get your smelly fish. Okay, let's get the brush. So, I missed the other brush. Still very annoyed that brush is gone. But at least, yeah, this one hasn't disappeared yet. Okay, I think I'm done. Still dripping sweat, even though it's cooler. Still a little warm. So it doesn't help that I have all this heavy clothing on. And the breeze died. So I saw Scruffy hanging around most of the day. Actually, no, I'd say the first half of the day. So I saw him on the big table sleeping. And he was there, I think, most of the morning. And then I think I saw him still at lunch. And then he later disappeared, like maybe within an hour. And then he was back on the big table again, like probably within another hour. I think the very last time he did see me, I didn't film it. But yeah, all the other times he didn't notice me, and then finally, yeah, he was awake and noticed me, and couldn't tell if he was scared or not. He definitely was watching me and seemed to have kind of a slightly worried look. It wasn't like the terrorized look that he has often. But yeah, he was probably watching to make sure I didn't do something to him. Not that I could by being inside the house, but I mostly ignored him, so I basically just did my thing and left, and then I think I came back a little bit later. He's still on the table, so I think yeah, he's sleeping again. And then I think yeah, mid-afternoon he disappeared again. I don't know where he went. And so I didn't see him again until dinner. Okay, got an ant on my nose. Take off the glove. Yeah, so the ants are still swarming. So I think the heat has stirred them up. So they're still all over my kitchen. And they still haven't seemed to locate it, anything specific that they're looking for. They're just kind of all running around. And then out here, I checked last night to see if they were still in the cat food, and it looks like yeah, they stopped. So the raid looks like that took care of them trying to get into the cat food for now. So I didn't need to pour any boric acid around the container. But I'll need to keep an eye on that. See how long the raid lasts. Remember one of the apartments I used to have a long, long time ago. I was there about a year, and it was built on an anthill, so we just get massive swarms of ants that just appeared in a matter of minutes. So if you leave food out, the ants would find it within, let's say, 10 to 20 minutes, and you just see these huge, huge lines, these trails of ants just crawling up from the ground, up the wall, and get the food, and they were just relentless. Couldn't believe just how many there were. So I really got sick of it at one point, and I probably should have called a professional, but yeah, I didn't. I was broke at the time, had no money, so I wasn't gonna do that. So I bought a can of Raid. I just sprayed like crazy. So at first I just sprayed very lightly, thinking it would solve the problem. And then, I spray, and then it killed the ants that were there, but it didn't stop any ants coming back in the future. And so eventually I just got so frustrated, I just started spraying the can, just dumping out every ounce of poison into every crevice I saw that the ants could come out of. And probably should have wore a mask because there's so many fumes and vapors. It's probably toxic to me. It's not a smart thing to do. But yeah, I sprayed so much of it. I think I used the whole bottle, so that was a lot. And yeah, ants didn't come back, at least for, let's say, 3 months. So on one hand, I guess if you use enough of the Raid, it's effective. On the other hand, I'm kind of disappointed. Like if you use just small amounts, it's surprisingly ineffective. So I like the little ant sugar boric acid poison better, because you don't have to worry about inhaling toxic fumes, poisonous vapors. So I was trying to do a bunch of reading on how dangerous boric acid was, just for comparison, and it doesn't seem to be very dangerous at all, even though there are warnings all over the labels and stuff in practice. I think I saw one. It's not technically the same thing, but because technically boric acid is an acid, whereas I think scientists compare it to basically table salt, NaCl. So I guess in terms of reactivity, it's not very strong. So the reason you use the boric, well, actually I don't know the reason for the poisoning part of the boric acid. I know the reason you pour the boric acid back on the ground for roaches and ants is when they walk over it, it's like walking over like daggers and knives and sharp glass and blades, and basically it cuts up the exoskeletons of insects when they walk over it. And so if they keep walking over it, especially in the case of ants, that form a trail and all the ants are going back and forth over the boric acid to get to the food. Basically, when they cross it enough times, it kills the ants slowly, just by lots and lots of little cuts. when they ingest it, I guess it just kills them very slowly, and they're feeding it to the queen, so you kill the queen, they all die. Okay, well, I guess Scruffy's done for the night. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.